A very greetings to everyone present here. So we are here with another session with with Akshaya, Dr. Akshaya Sriram, uh, and she will be talking to us on her personal journey on healthy skin. A little bit introduction about Dr. Akshaya Sriram is a naturopathic and yogic doctor from who graduated from the SDM College of Naturopathy and Yogic Sciences. With a keen interest in integrative medicine, she aspires to spread the message of the importance of integrative healing and lifestyle change in order to combat most of the metabolic disorders that plagues the earth today. She is the co-founder of Whollyness, a lifestyle and health establishment. Whollyness is a state of wholeness and balanced living. The establishment conducts various health workshops targeting lifestyle disorders such as diabetes mellitus, hypertensive disorders, hypercholesterolemia, and so forth. The aim of Whollyness is to simultaneously heal metabolic disorders from the root and to spread the word on holistic living. So, as I said, she will be delivering a talk on personal journey and on her healthy skin. So, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Namaste, everyone. My name is Akshaya Sairam, and so today my talk is going to be on my journey to healthy skin. So I think let's dive right into it. So first, I want to talk about why I chose this topic of skin. So every naturopathic and yogic doctor will know that the skin is the first source of elimination, whether there's whatever issues there within your body. The first way your body decides to show that there's an issue is through your skin. So it's very important for us to understand this biofeedback, for us to understand this communication that our body is trying to have with us, so we can arrest the development of a disease at its very root. So if you notice, most issues will start from the skin, and if you don't suppress it there, then it slowly snowballs and becomes something bigger, and by then it's too late. So skin health is very crucial, because once you can pick up on the signs, and if you can start correcting it from that initial level, it'll become very easy to kind of reverse a condition, to reverse a disease. So I like to talk about my journey. So I have to take you back through a story. So my entire life I've actually had relatively quote unquote clear skin, if I may say so. So I never had acne. I never had an issue with that. Even when puberty hit, most people would complain, oh no, I got acne after puberty. But actually my issue was never that bad. I touch wood, I never had a bad childhood when it came to my skin. But as soon as I came to university, 1 year in, and bombs away. It started with one acne and it starts snowballing, and slowly my face was erupting into these small blisters everywhere. And I didn't understand what was happening. So it was a shock for me. It was a shock for my family. It was a shock for my friends. They were like, "What are you doing differently? What is happening to your skin?" And that was I was genuinely in a state of disbelief, because I didn't know what was happening at that point of time. And I figured, okay, so then I got a lot of opinions from everyone. Some of the opinions were asked for, some of it was unsolicited, and people were like, oh, maybe it's stress, maybe you're not drinking enough water, maybe it's you've suddenly become allergic to dairy, all these regular things that we have when it comes to skin health. They start telling me, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And I was like, okay, so I'm studying for naturopathy and yoga. And the most ironic part was I was going through chronic acne at the same time. So it was this incongruence. And I was like, okay, how can I go to a hospital and say, okay, I'm advocating naturopathy and yoga when I myself am in a state of actual unhealthiness in that way. Then I was like, okay, let me start doing something about it. So the first thing was, I was just in my first year, so I didn't know much about it at that time, from how to deal with it in a naturopathic, in a holistic way. So as everyone would say, the first thing that always comes to a person's mind is topical treatments, right? So you name it, I've been through it. So whether it's salicylic acid, whether it's niacinamide, whether it's rubbing benzoyl peroxide on your face, I know, don't try it, bad idea. So I've been there, using these weird products, Cetaphil, CeraVe, all these unscented products. So I've been through all of that and nothing worked. It wouldn't budge. The acne wouldn't move at all. In fact, it kept getting worse. And I was like, okay, this is not working for me. And I think I spent a whole year trying to deal with it in the topical way, the superficial way. And it wasn't working. And I was like, okay, so I guess the television ads aren't as, aren't as clear as they claim to be and stuff. And I was like, okay, so this is not happening. Let me try something else. Then I was like, okay, now I was second year into my program, into my naturopathic and yogic course. And I was like, cool. So now they spoke about internal detox and how to deal with, removing the toxins from the core of the body, and how the gut is the root cause of everything. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me start with that. So the first thing I did was I went on a complete 10-day fast. So you know how fasts work, right? So we start off with a boiled diet that's unseasoned, that's completely bland, so our body will get used to it. Then we move into a complete raw diet. Then we go through a complete juice fast. Then we get into a lemon honey fast. Then we come back in reverse. Then we come back through a raw diet, a boiled diet, and then we can get back to our normal routine. This worked incredibly well for me, actually. So like my skin wasn't clear. I would say it was about 50% clear after this. And I was super ecstatic about it. I was like, yes, I found like the solution for it. And I was like, okay, so all I have to do is like eat clean and my skin will be healthy. So then I wouldn't let myself indulge in anything, whether it was white sugar, out of my diet, dairy, out of my diet, processed and packaged foods, like what I used to have before, like a cookie or a lace or whatever, out of my diet. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to have any of that. I'm just going to stay in this clean path and things should be good. And I used to drink a lot of water. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm stressing. Like stress is an elusive thing, right? We don't know when we're stressing. So I always felt like I was never in stress, but my skin was speaking otherwise. So I was like, okay, let me try meditating. So I just sit in silence without knowing what I was doing. And I was like, okay, all this is helping. And it was like 50% down. It wasn't entirely gone. So I was really confused. I was like, why is it not entirely gone? Like, what am I doing wrong? Then I was like, okay, fine. You know what? Maybe it's going to take some time. There's a few more toxins. It'll come out. So I was just going down that same path. And but the only problem with this was, it wasn't working entirely for me. Only like 50% of it was clearing up. And B, the moment I would slip on the diet, like for instance, suppose one day I'm like, okay, it's my birthday, my friends have got me, they got me this cake, so I have to have a bite of it. So I'd have like a bite of the cake and bombs away. It would come back with a vengeance and it would be really bad. Then I was like, what? So I'm not allowed to have even like a bite of like, a cheat meal. I was like, this is not sustainable. Yeah, like, come on. Like, I can't live like this my whole life, right? Then I was like, okay, so this is not working for me. This doesn't seem to be a feasible solution. I've got to figure something out. And also, for your information, like during this time, I was also, I removed all those chemical products. Like I shifted from salicylic acid and all of that. I moved into turmeric and neem powder and all of it. So I found the natural replacements for it. Again, it was all of that together was a 50% cure. All of this, I hadn't found my cure entirely. Then I started thinking, so when you're dealing with a really stubborn problem, right? You've got to be really flexible. So you've got to have more degrees of freedom than the problem that you're dealing with. So when I realized, okay, this is a long-term thing, I've had it for over 2 years, it's not budging at all. Let me try something else. I've really got nothing to lose at this point. Then I was like, okay, so let me try going beyond this. That's when I started thinking about it from a Panchakusha theory. I was like, okay, Annamaya Kosha. So for those of you who don't know what the Panchakusha theory is, I'll give you a quick intro into that. So the Panchakusha theory, according to naturopathic and yogic concept, is the body is an amalgamation of 5 sheets or 5 layers of existence. The first one is the physical body as we know it. The second one is the pranic body, or the breath in very, very simple terms. So the body of which your breath is made out of. The third one is your Manamaya Kosha, or the body of your emotions. The fourth one is Vijnanamaya Kosha, or the body of your intellect. And the fifth one is Anandamaya Kosha, or the etheric body and the auric body, as they call it. So I was like, okay, so Annamaya Kosha is all clean. I can't do anything more in Annamaya Kosha. I'm going on a clean diet. I'm eating everything right. I'm doing everything topically. I can't possibly do more. So Annamaya Kosha out of the question. Let me start looking at it from a Pranamaya Kosha layer. So let me go to the next one. So we all know. So what is one of the most famous sutras in our Hatha Yoga Pradipika? Chale vate chalam chittam nischale nischalam bhavet. This basically states that your mind, when it's cluttered and when it's confused and your mind is working at a very rapid rate, it has a direct connection with your breath. So your mind and your breath are so closely related that we're not aware of it in a very conscious way. Then I was like, okay, let me see if so there's something wrong, with the way I'm thinking or something like that. So I just tried to go down that road. So the first thing I did was I timed my respiratory rate. So we all know, like our Vedic sages, they state that a breath rate in a minute of 10 and below is the ideal breath rate. If you're breathing in a fewer than 10 breaths in a minute, you're like at the optimum level, or you're functioning at the optimum health level possible. It can't get better than that. Then I was like, cool, let me time my respiration and see how I fared. And I counted mine and I was at 25. So I was like, okay, I am 15 breaths over the count of the actual optimal breath. And I was like, okay, that this means, this is proof that my mind is working at a very, very, very fast pace, which is exactly why my breath is working at a very, very, very fast pace. And this means and if I'm breathing at 25 breaths in a minute, that definitely means I'm not utilizing my entire lung to breathe. I'm breathing from a very clavicular area. So maybe it was like clavicular breathing or like upper chest breathing. Definitely not belly breathing, definitely not utilizing the lower lobes of the lung. And I was like, my breathing is off because my mental state is off somewhere subconsciously. And because of that, definitely the Annamaya Kosha is going to get impacted, or the physical body is going to get impacted. I was like, okay, cool. So I like figured something out. Now let me work with this. So then you're with me so far, right? So I'm clear. Okay, cool. So then I was like, okay, let's start doing something with the Pranayama Kosha. So what I would do is every day I would consciously like sit down for once in the morning, once in the evening, and I would consciously slow down my breathing. So I wouldn't like force it and be like, okay, I'm going to breathe slowly. I just try to utilize my belly more as I breathe. So when you force the breath to go into your belly, it will slow down. So whenever I find myself stressing out, I immediately like check, where am I breathing from? Is it clavicular? Is it thoracic? Or is it abdominal? Then I would force it to become abdominal breathing. And then automatically that would slow down my breath. And when my breath slows down, it is amazing how distinct, how closely associated your breath is with your mind, because my thought rates would come down, my anxiety levels would go down. And I was like, wow, this is like a great help for, it's a great tool for someone with anxiety or with too many thoughts running in your head, you know? So this is the thing I started doing, and slowly the acne actually started coming down a little bit more. I think by now it was like 70% over, but the scars and all would still remain. And I was like honestly like, okay, I'll just use concealer and cover it, it'll be fine, whatever. And then I came to 70%, and I was like, okay, you know what? Like I was able to push it that extra 20% by going to Pranamaya Kosha. Why don't I go to Manomaya and Vijnanamaya, and why don't I see how it can work from that level? So I went to Manomaya Kosha, and I was like, okay, let me look at the emotional aspect, like what is happening. And so I came across this book by, I don't know if you've heard of her, Louise Hay. She's a wonderful author. She's written this famous book called You Can Heal Your Life. And it basically talks about how each disease, whether it's diabetes, cancer, hair fall to acne, each one of the conditions are associated with a certain thought. So, and you know how thoughts are connected to emotions. When you feel a certain way, that manifests in your physical body as a certain disease. So it's a very poetic thing. So when suppose you feel like you don't enjoy life, like you don't want to enjoy the sweetness of life, you get diabetes, according to her. So that's her theory of it. I think that's very ironic, because it gives you a very smart clue into what thoughts you could be thinking. For diabetes, you can't accept sweet physically, you're not accepting sweet emotionally and mentally too. So it works on that way. So then I was like, okay, let me look at acne. Like, what is the deal with acne? And then I looked at acne, and the thought that she said, or she thought was associated with acne, was a deep dislike of the self. You know, you're not accepting the true self like entirely. Then the inner state kind of manifests into the outer state. And they do say, right, like your outer self is like a complete manifestation of your inner self. Then I was like, and this is getting deep, and this is where I usually lose a few people. But if you've stuck around so far, good for you. Then I was like, great, okay, so let me try working on that. And I realized that, yeah, it was true. You know, my confidence was so conditional that I was like, okay, if I don't use concealer, if I have clear skin, then only I'll be confident. That's like a kind of half confidence, right? That's not complete in a way. And I was like, so do I want to go living my life with this conditions in my mind? Like, I will be confident if if this checkpoint is there, if this checkpoint is there, if this checkpoint is there. Like, we all know the only constant thing is, like, in life is change. So you're going to keep changing. So I can't keep waiting for my mind to check the tick points to see, okay, now I have all this, now I'll be confident. It doesn't work that way. So I realized, okay, you have to have some level of unconditional confidence here, and you have to be okay with whatever it is. So acceptance is really key. Then I was like, okay, fine. So this is the last stage that I'm going through. I've been through the pranayama, so I've toned down the mind, I've toned down the breath. Anamaya, I'm doing fine. But now I've got to go to a deeper root cause of just accepting it. You know, like this whole mindset, this whole subconscious conditioning that we have, that anything less than clear skin, it's not normal, it's not proper, because that's what we see everywhere, right? Then I was like, okay, this, I have to take charge of my conditioning now. I've got to mentally rewire my mind and rewire my brain to think differently about myself and about others. So I was like, you know what? It's absolutely normal to have acne. It's absolutely normal to have hyperpigmentation and moles and all of that. So I was like, okay, so let me start rewiring my mind to accept that and find the beauty in that too. So I would then one day I just stop my concealer. I would just go with like my acne scars to my college. And obviously every single person in our society has that social conditioning. So they all would be like, oh my God, like your acne scars are showing. I was like, yeah, so whatever. Like, I don't really care about it. You shouldn't care if I don't care about it. So initially the first 5 days was like, everyone was like, But then I realized that, you know what, it's actually not that difficult. Like once you just go out there, once you just rip the band-aid out, it becomes really easy to do it. So then I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I don't really care about it anymore. So when I started going out there and I was actually accepting it, like from my very soul, like from the very core of myself, I was genuinely okay with the fact that I had it. And now I wasn't desperately looking for a solution anymore. So now I would like, if I wanted to eat a pizza, I would eat it. Acne would come, like, yeah, whatever, fine, it's coming. It's a way of elimination. So it shows me that my body's responding, my body's reacting. It's beautiful. It shows me that my body's alive and it's functioning. I was like, yeah, great. So that's a great indication that my detox system is working. So I started changing the way I thought about it. I removed all the negative associations I had with it. And then, like, honestly, like now you can see it's been like 6 months and now I'm like acne free. Not that I'm saying it's a good thing because it's going against what I advocated for. So even now, if I get like some acne once in a while, I really don't care. I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever. Like again, it's showing me that my body's immunity is really strong, that my skin elimination is working really well. So I'm really proud of my body for that. Like, thank you. So that's the immediate mindset that I get. And more than my diet, more than my breath, I feel this was the holy grail. This was what actually cleared it all away so completely. So now no scars, no acne, and all of this was only because of that last phase that I attacked, that Manomaya Kosha level. That was all I had to do to completely like clear it out. Now the goal is, like I said, now to really like to get the fundamental point down at the end of the session. It's not to say, okay, so I'm giving you the stock so I can show you how to clear your skin. That's not the point of this at all. The point of this is to normalize all sorts of skin, like to say it's normal to have, you know, hyperpigmentation. It's normal to have acne. The more the acne, the better. Like your body is reacting the way, so good. Yeah, I'm not saying that throw, you know, your health out of the window. Obviously, your body is trying to respond. So if you're doing everything that you can on a physical and mental level, if you're breathing fine, you're eating right, you can allow yourself to have some pizza every now and then. It's not a crime to do that. But don't obsess over it and say, oh my God, I'm not confident now because of this. Oh my God, how will I go out? Oh my God, I'm not pretty because I look this way. No, that's absolute bull. Like, if I can say it that way, that's not true at all. So that's what I'm trying to advocate over here. Like complete skin confidence, regardless, the unconditional skin confidence. It's not contingent on the ability of your skin to be clear or the ability of your skin to look a certain way. That's what I think our generations should start advocating for. And I went through this journey and I'm so grateful for it because it's made me so accepting of myself, like my flaws, and also inadvertently other people and their flaws. So it's really brought about that sense of community. And I think it's made me better as a doctor in a way that it's really hard for me to judge people now. So for me, when I like talk to them and when they tell me about their medical past or, you know, the personal past that's led them to the state that they're in, it's very hard for me to pass an instant judgment because I've rewired my mind to think differently. So I think in a way it's really benefited me. So I am really grateful that I've made the acquaintance of chronic acne. I'm so grateful that I had it. I'm so grateful that it taught me so much. And it's the reason that I am what I am today. So every condition that you have, you can always flip it over and learn something from it. And that's also a point I'd like to put out there. And yeah, that's essentially the crux of what I wanted to say. So if you have any questions, please shoot.
Yeah, I would say that your approach is very much needed, I would say, for every individual to look at their health and disease with
Right.
harmony.
Right.
And they have to accept themselves first.
Correct.
And that is the point. I think that is the root the Whollyness is trying to work on, I guess.
You got it. Yes. So Whollyness, I think right now, most people won't be able to understand this. That's one thing I've learned. It's hard to get here. For me itself, I was like in a complete naturopathic and yogic course, and it took me 3 years to understand that I have to come to Manomaya. So what we do is we want to work from the very physical aspect of it. So definitely something was wrong with me physically. That's why it worked. The 50% cure happened after my fast. So what we want to do is take people from the level that which they are comfortable with. So if people are comfortable and understand only the body level, that's where we want to start from. So right now we're working on our diabetic program. It's a 21-day diabetic program. We have 4 people on board, and their HbA1c is on an average, it's like 10.2. That's the average HbA1c right now. So I think we're 4 days into the program, and our goal is to deliver the meals to their doorstep. So a meal that's designed and curated for a diabetic patient. It's low on carbs, low on sugar, high in protein, high in healthy fat. So we make these meals and we deliver it to their doorstep, breakfast, lunch, dinner with snacks. And we're taking them through a yoga protocol too. So thrice a week they'll have yoga with me, where I take them through breathing, I take them through diabetic specific asanas, to help them start on a very physical level. And then every alternate day I have talks with them, where I talk about sun therapy and diabetes, water therapy and diabetes, reflexology and diabetes. And now currently I'm talking about meditation and diabetes. I'm taking them through cyclic meditation. So it's a very, very gradual step-by-step process. And I want to be there with them throughout the entire the timeline from your Annamaya Kosha to your Manomaya Kosha. So right now I'm still in the Pranayama Kosha. We're still doing pranayamas and breathing now, but I know that we'll get there. But yeah, the goal is to get people to become more aware of their bodies, to understand the way the signals your body is giving you. It's trying to communicate with you. That's essentially what we're ignorant about. So when we get diabetes is the last thing. Before diabetes, you get many, many small signs from your body, which we're not aware of, which we ignore. It could be as simple as constipation. It could be as simple as, asthma, or like that, the difficulty in breathing. Your body gives you all these signals, but we just don't know how to process it and how to understand it. So the goal of Whollyness, the goal of our establishment is to enable people to become their own doctors by understanding the signals that their body is trying to give them, in order to effectively communicate with their systems and in order to lead a healthier and better life. So that's what our goal is, that's what our mission is, and we'll see where we can go.
Yeah, you've summed up everything very well. I should say that.
I hope so. But yeah, so that's about it. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Yeah, sure. So I want to know your perspectives after coming all this way, on your perspectives on the remedies, the home remedies, all the short-term instant reliefs that is given. Your perspective on it now.
For acne?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a great question. So I like to start off with the initial home remedies. Yeah, initially you do need some spot treatment. You do need some symptomatic relief treatments. I love a mixture of gram flour and turmeric. I think it works wonders. Just applying that mixture, and make sure to not apply it every day, because your body will develop a resistance to it. We want our body to actively respond. So that's why we notice now our bodies have already developed a resistance to the coronavirus because we gave the immunity shot, right? Or our body will develop resistance to medications when we take it for a long period of time. The thing is, this gram flour and turmeric is such a potent combination that we want our bodies to respond to it for a very, very, very long period of time. So giving it every day will make your skin feel saturated and will stop responding to it after some time. So make sure you're placing that gap in between the application of the gram flour and turmeric mixture. So I would do it once every 2 days. That's how I would apply my mixture when I was using my. But I would do something every day. So one day would be gram flour and turmeric. The other day would be a neem powder with like a little bit of, the coffee powder, just put into it for that little bit of exfoliation. That used to work for me. And also, I think the most important thing here is, which people would think is counterproductive, is oil. So we all know like metal cuts metal, right? So here, what is the anatomy of a pimple? Like basically your pores have enlarged and dead skin cells and sebum has gotten stuck in there, right? Then that leads to inflammation, redness, and that sort of pus-like fluid that starts collecting there. That's essentially what happens in a pimple. So I have noticed that the best remedy for it is oil, because essentially your skin is cholesterol, right? Your skin is made up of fat. It's a combination of different fats. So the major 2 fats in your skin, which keeps the structure intact, is a delicate balance, or it's a delicate dance between 2 fatty acids. One is your linoleic acid, another one is your oleic acid. So combination of these 2 structures make your skin. So when the balance goes off, or when the dance is thrown off, then acne flares up. So when oleic acid becomes more than linoleic acid, that's the danger zone for us. So when we apply oils which are higher in linoleic acid, then it will meet the oleic acid balance again. And then again, oleic, linoleic, the balance will be established. So I recommend gentle oil massages with oils rich in linoleic acid. The top one, I think, is safflower oil, grapeseed oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil. All these oils are like extremely rich in linoleic. So just like taking a little bit into your palms, like warming it up and just massaging it into your face, and then taking a kind of a moist cloth and dip it in ice cold water. That's what worked for me. For some people, warm water works. For some people, really hot water works. For me, ice cold water worked. So I would dip it in ice cold water. I would squeeze it. I would just press it into my face and remove so all the dirt and all the bacteria. I would just dissolve into that oil and just come out with the cloth. So just scrub it away and you wash that cloth with detergent and keep it aside. You can reuse that same cloth for the rest of the day. So after I stopped all my salicylic acid and my CeraVe and my Cetaphil, all my face washes, I threw everything aside. I only used to do oil cleansing every day. So once in the morning, once in the evening, I would apply some safflower oil into my face. I would put a ice cold cloth and I would clean it away. So oil cleansing really works. Your turmeric and your gram flour works. Neem and coffee mixture works. Another thing that's really useful is oil pulling. So just, taking a little bit of, coconut oil or a little bit of sesame oil and just like, it shouldn't be too much, about 2 tablespoons maybe, and just take it in your mouth and start swishing it around for 20 minutes, like how you would do with a mouthwash, but it needn't be that intense. It'll help extract all the toxins from your very core. So that's also a great way. So you'll feel that vacuum-like effect at the back of your throat. So oil pulling is a great exercise that you could do on a daily basis. Then enemas, I really recommend enemas because I feel like that's another useful tool in order to help the body in detoxifying itself. And yeah, so oil pulling, oil cleansing, gram flour and turmeric, neem and coffee. What else was I really using? Okay, another thing that I recently came across a research paper for people who are interested in vitamins and all of that, right? We all know. So like, so you're a girl, you must have looked into the good vitamins for the skin, and we always see vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin C, vitamin E. So everyone puts, okay, let me put like some orange peel mixture on my face. Let me get that vitamin E capsule and put on my face. So that was the 2 things that all girls and all guys also did for good skin. But recently a paper was published, I just read it, that the best vitamin for the skin is not vitamin C, it's not vitamin E, it's actually vitamin B3. So niacinamide, so niacin, that is actually the best vitamin for your skin. So again, I don't suggest topical treatments because I've tried it, been there, done that, it doesn't work. Get it in through your diet. So figure out which source of vitamin B3 works best for you, the best organic natural sources, and get that in through your diet, and that will really help you with just repairing damaged cells, repairing the damaged cell layers, and it's a great vitamin for the skin.
Okay, sure. Would you like to share with us about your diet, your healthy, clean living? What kind of foods did you include? What did you omit?
Okay, wonderful. So the first thing I started was something called, so after my 10 days of fast that I mentioned, immediately from the next day, I started doing something called intermittent fasting. So I loved the results that fasting had on me. And I've read enough research papers to know how incredible fasting is for our bodies and our health. For those of you who don't know, you can send me like a page. I can send all the links to the research papers to you. But the most important thing is, autophagy. So the concept that won a Nobel Prize. It's a concept where your body's own immune cells, your body's own fighting mechanism eats up all the old debris and the old cells and all the toxic products that it doesn't need. So your body has a natural cleansing capacity, but it needs to be given time to establish it. So the only way to give your body time is through fasting. So I realized, okay, fasting throughout the day is not going to be feasible. It's not a practical option for everyone. But intermittent fasting is a very, very practical, viable option that anyone in the world can adopt. So I work on the 16-8 concept. So I fast for a period of 16 hours and I eat for a period of 8 hours. So for me, I've realized my body is not hungry all the time, but I still used to eat. I was like, oh, breakfast time, let me eat breakfast. Oh, lunch time, let me eat lunch. Oh, dinner time, let me eat dinner. But my body wasn't hungry. So what was I eating for? So this is one more thing I start picking up on. Let me eat only when I'm hungry. So I started registering my eating patterns, my hunger patterns. I realized that my peak hunger levels were at 11 a.m. in the morning. So that was when I started eating my breakfast. So I eat my breakfast only at 11 a.m. because my hunger levels are good. My stomach acid is strong. My digestion is at its peak. So utilize it, cash in on that and get it all the way. So that's the first thing I do. I do have my breakfast at 11. And then I noticed my second peak hunger level is at 4:30. So I would have like a lunch dinner, so like a dinner at around 4:30. I would include lots of salads in it. I'll take you through what I eat too. So breakfast at 11 o'clock, lunch by 4:30, and I try to wrap everything up by 6 p.m. So I have like either some papaya. It's a mono diet. So one day it's papaya, one day it's chiku, one day it's pineapple. I have like one fruit entirely, so I don't mix a lot of fruits. I have that by 6 p.m. So if you calculate that, it's 8 hours. So I eat between 11 to 5:36, and from 6 p.m. to the next day 11 a.m. I don't eat anything. So I have either tender coconut water or I have buttermilk. And in the morning, if I'm feeling a little frisky, I'll have some ashka juice. Apart from that, I don't feel hungry, so I don't feel the need to eat. So I just follow this, and I've realized that this has impacted and helped me a lot when it comes to how my energy levels are throughout the day. I don't feel the need to sleep as much anymore. So that is the first thing I did. Intermittent fasting, getting that into my routine was the number one thing. The second thing I started doing was I do eat. I wouldn't say that I'm on a complete clean diet. Like, I don't eat pizza, I don't eat pasta. I definitely eat all that because I do like it. But yes, the need for it and the indulgence has gone down a lot. So I would eat it maybe like, say, once in a week, twice in a week, or else for the most part, my breakfast is so my friend's dad is a naturopath, and he makes these organic protein powders at home. It contains all the 5 food groups. He sun-dries them. He uses natural and organic products. So I buy that protein powder from her, and I just put that in some water, add some jaggery, and I just have a big bowl of that with like some sabja seeds or chia seeds. That is usually my breakfast. I like having raw coconut with it too because it adds that great texture to that. That's usually my breakfast. And then lunch, I love having a salad before my rice because it really adds to the fiber content. It's going to help my body in digesting the food better. So I either just cut some cucumbers up and some tomatoes. So half a cucumber, one tomato. I just chop it up and I just have it before my meal, and then I go and have my regular lunch, which is like, I'm a South Indian, so like rasam, sambar, curd rice, anything like that, which my mother would make. I would have that for lunch. And then for dinner, I would have a mono diet. So I would have unlimited quantity. I would have like a whole papaya to myself, but I would eat only papaya. So when you mix fruits, right, your body gets confused and your digestive system is not able to absorb the complete benefit of one fruit. So every day I give my body time to completely absorb the effects of one fruit. So it's just papaya one day, just pineapple one day, it's just chiku one day. And that's for dinner. And I make sure to get in water. I've been slacking on that lately, but I have to get back to it. So drinking water is very important. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Very simple. I'm not too fussy with my meals otherwise.
Okay. And how about, did you face any healing crisis, and how much intense were they?
I tell you what, my healing crisis was my acne. So like my body in the first stage that we caught it, right? So I'm glad I caught it at that stage. So for those of you who don't know, healing crisis is it's a mechanism. So your body is going through a detox and your body is trying to cure itself. It usually starts throwing out the toxins, right? So that comes out in various ways. Either you start vomiting, or you get nausea, or you get diarrhea, or you get fever. These are just like good signs from your body that it's trying to cleanse itself. So for me, that cleansing process was of acne. So I caught it at that in the initial phase. So I didn't have to deal with much except for the recovery of the acne. That's all.
Okay. So what tips would you like to give to people who are battling with this confidence issues due to not so beautiful skin?
Yeah. See, this is such a huge issue right now. I've been through that personally because of my acne. So I've been there. I know what it feels like. And one thing I'd like to say is I'm not going to like sugarcoat it and say it's going to be very easy. You just walk out there like with your skin and be like, yeah, whatever. And people are going to be like, oh, it's so nice. The first thing I would say when it comes to confidence is stop looking for external validation, because that's the thing, right? We all are so conditioned that I'm waiting for someone to come and tell me, oh, your skin is good. And they only know good skin through the media that they are used to. They see billboards, they see all this, so they associate good skin with that. So they'll not compliment you because they're also in the same conditioning, right? So if you truly want to be like confident about yourself, about your skin, the first thing is we should stop relying so much on external validation. Even if it's from our parents, just don't seek that out. Like, oh, I need someone to like tell me today. No, I mean, like, that's not going to happen if that's what we're going to be looking for. So if we want to start a change, if we want to like start changing the way we think, changing how we feel from inside, the first thing is you have to be your own kind of hype man. Like, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I know what, you look gorgeous, like you look flawless, your skin looks amazing today, and just be so grateful for your body, you know, for everything that it does. I just realized that the more I study about the body, whether it's even as simple as how insulin is made, you know, it starts from transcription, translation, starting from the chromosome 11, going into that, making itself into that product. It's so complicated, but it's so beautiful that our bodies are able to do that, and it's doing all of that just to keep us healthy and alive, so we can experience the day, so we can experience the world for what it is. We just take all of that for granted. We just don't realize, because we're not aware of what's happening. So we're like, oh yeah, I know, whatever, I'm so worried about my skin today. Like, that's the last of your concerns. Like, you have so many other things that you should be grateful for and be concerned about, that this is really, it doesn't even come close to top 10. So first, it's going to take some time, but you have to start reconditioning your mind, because you can't fake it, right? And also, you can't fake it till you make it. But for the most part, just be like, okay, you know what? I really don't care about this. So what's the first thing? Just tell yourself, I don't care about external validation. I know that I'm good. If they can't see it, it's not my problem. I mean, they can't see it because they feel the flaw in themselves. So I feel sorry for them. I'm just going to continue with my life. So just be like, okay, I'm fine, whatever. People tell you, oh, your skin looks kind of bumpy today. Then be like, yeah, so what's it to you? Like, I love it. I love my skin. If you have an issue with your skin, then that's not my problem. You've got to deal with it. So it's like kind of toughening up. It's a mixture of toughening up. It's a mixture of acceptance, and it's also a mixture of putting yourself in that environment that's kind of that cultivates that ability in you more to have that thought. So for example, if I want to feel good about my skin, and I constantly surround myself with people who tell me, oh, you know, like, what is your skin, then that's not going to help me. You know, I need positive reinforcement. So whether it's with people, you surround yourself with the right people, and you surround yourself with reading material that enforces that. You know, stay away from social media a little bit, where you see people who are like constantly putting their fake skin. Stay away from that, and see like real things. You know, read real books from real people who talk about their real life experiences. So you start surrounding yourself with this, your worldview shifts, and when your worldview shifts, automatically that has a very major impact on your inner state of self.
So yeah, I think that will be of great help to people who will be watching this.
I really hope, yeah.
So thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much for having me. I think I had a great time here discussing this topic with you, and I hope it's helped a few people out there in recognizing their body's ability to communicate with them. So and that's about it. If people have any doubts, I've written an article about this on LinkedIn, so if they're interested, they can check that out too. So that's great.
Yeah, sure. I have read that.
You read it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So it was so nice meeting you, and I hope to see you guys soon. Maybe
Sure.
Have a great
evening. Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for coming on to our platform, weathering this for us. Thank you
so much for having me. Thank you.